Hi guys. No trailers this morning. No trailers today. To be honest, can't be bothered. Um,
Hi guys.
yeah, let's shut up. um, I know I say it a lot, but quick one tonight. So I've got a list of 6 things here. First one, I've been ill, like real, proper ill. I don't get ill. I mean, I might get a cold or something like that. I'll be out for a couple of days, but I've been knocked on my arse for about a week. No idea what it was. It started at the show, which I'll talk about later. The Kickstarter show. I wasn't feeling too good on the Friday, and then the Saturday I didn't feel brilliant, but Saturday night was terrible. And then Sunday I was like, thankfully it wasn't very busy on Sunday. Well, thankfully I don't know if that's a good thing to say, but it wasn't very busy on Sunday. It was a good day on Saturday. The show was good, lots of people. So that was quite good fun. Yeah, I haven't silenced my phone. So I haven't done hardly anything this week. I've just basically been moping around, feeling sorry for myself. Now, don't even worry about that. Appy's not well. Still not well. Maybe at some point we may talk about it. But at the moment we're not. But suffice to say he's still ill. But he's coming out of hospital. I think he said he was coming out of hospital today, so which is good news. But he's still not well. So that's obviously not good. But we'll probably talk about that another time. So let's go to the subject that close to my heart. Doesn't seem to be close to a lot of yours. Paying balances. So as it stands at the moment, about 750, 800 people have paid. I think 750, about 650 still got to pay their balances. And as you know, I've paid for 1,000 monitors being produced right now. In fact, we're probably only a couple of weeks from assembly. So they're being prepared. There's still something like 100 of those cases unpaid for, which is concerning. Now, it's okay for them because I'll have 100 here. As soon as people pay, they'll get their monitors. It's fine. It's the next batch. And I know I always talk about this, but I've got to be clear about this. And this is again, it's not that I'm annoyed with anyone. I just have to explain the reality. Those who paid, thank God for that. You'd have killed, the project would have died. And I say this a lot, but it's true. It would have died. So thank you to them. Those that haven't paid are still waiting for the credit card. Now, I'm not going over the credit card fiasco again. It's still ongoing. I think I may have mentioned that NatWest pulled the plug on me. That was a lot of help. And just so you know, Barclays did a blinder. I don't know if any of you know about credit scores. But I had a perfect credit score on the company. I mean, we never borrowed money, so you don't have a perfect credit score because the company's never borrowed any money. It's never needed it. So, we had an average score. Anyway, unbeknownst to me, Barclays actually marked a default payment on my company for 4 months on something. This was to do with the refunds, and they were trying to charge me some of the fees on the money that I had to refund. I had it in writing saying I didn't know it, and they put it on there. It's taken me ages to get sorted out, but unfortunately it's still there. They removed it about 5 weeks ago. It's still sitting there, and they're now chasing it. So I can't go to another credit card company because just in case they go there, because they're going to see that and it looks like it says high risk, and I'm not. I'm literally not. So I've got that as well, thanks to Barclays, which I'm not happy about. But there's not much I can do about that at the moment. Thankfully, we've got Wise and we've got bank transfers, right? So that's all good. So I can't stress enough. I need people to start using Wise. I understand a small percentage not being able to afford to do it on direct now. I understand a small percentage, but not half. And I think people are just waiting for the convenience of it. Now, you have to be absolutely completely clear. It's not like, this isn't like going to Amazon, okay, buying a product. What you've done is you backed a Kickstarter, which is funding a new project. And that project relies not only on me and everyone involved in this project, it relies on you to pay any dues at the end when it's time. And it's always a pre-order system. You pay up front and then get it. Now, as you probably were, and I've been mentioning it, I've been dropping this in gently. I'm still holding off to see if we can clear this credit report thing to then go to another card people, and they may still be able to solve this. But in the meantime, Wise is there, okay, and we've done instructions on it. It's really straightforward. The secret again is don't pay on a credit card, because it's then treated like a cash advance. They then pull your pants down. Okay, don't do that. Pay it by a debit card. If you've got a debit card, just pay by debit card. It'd be like a bank transfer, and your fees will be low. Quite straightforward. There's a couple of little hoops you have to jump through, but then it's done. So that's all good. But as I've always said, I've got 800 people, over 800 people now. It's growing, sitting on the waiting list, who are quite happy to pay by. At least half will be happy to pay by Wise. And I'm just resisting. But there is going to come a point. Now, I've already laid out the plans. So basically, at some point, probably the end of the month, more than likely the end of the month, I will then manually give everyone an invoice number, which puts them in order, okay? And it gives them their place in the queue. As soon as I've done that, I'll invite all the people on the waiting list to, if they want to pay by Wise, they can order one and get into that queue. So they're at the back of the queue, but of course when it comes around, they turn up. If all the ones that are paid for are done, and there's just there's still some left over, and backers haven't paid their balance, it will go to people who on the waiting list who've paid. Yeah, that's the way it's going to be, because I'm not having this project destroyed. And I know some people are going to get upset about this, but I can't have this project destroyed because the balances aren't being paid. So I'm holding off. But at some point, now I can only do this because there's enough money in the bank to pay for the shipping, get the stuff over here, because we've had another headache. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't. We thought we was going to have a headache, but it turned out it wasn't. But I've got the money. I've got this. Everything's here. We can ship the products out to people. The money's sitting there. It's fine. But I've got to order the next batch. When that lot gets on the boat, if realistically, I should be paying for the next batch. Now, for people to say, well, you've had the money. No, I haven't, because it's only half of the cost, because a lot of it is the panel, and there's the extras, and there's the board, the extra boards. There's a lot, and it's all extra money, which was never calculated in the Kickstarter. So, people need to pay. So that's enough of that. But at some point, this is gonna come out, and then all the people on the waiting list are gonna go, hurrah! Okay, moving on. Show. As some of you may be aware, there was an Amiga show called Kickstart 02 in Nottingham County. Oh, nearly said it, didn't I? Nottingham County Football Club. And And yeah, it was a good show. And be honest, the after party thing is not really my scene. And I mean, I like the music. Don't get me wrong, but a night rave thing, because I go to these shows. A lot of people said this to me. If Ravi's watching this, listen. A lot of people said this to me, that we just want to sit down, have a beer, have a chat, have a laugh. Yeah, music in the background. Yeah, great. But we want to, because we don't see each other, right? We just don't see each other. We don't want to be bang, 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 bang. So, just bear that in mind. But you know, the first day was great. I mean, it was good. There was not many traders like myself. I think I had the biggest stand myself, and well, I mean, it was three of. Actually, to be fair, we all had pretty much the same size stands. But I think you may have seen the picture, and it was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the you know. I mean, I got a really sore throat. I mean, I'm still a bit croaky. And yeah, I lost my voice pretty badly at the end of the second day. And then I went down with this illness, and so I'm on antibiotics now, so it seems to be helping. But you know, as a show, it was good. But next year, I think it's anyway. But don't forget, I'm looking at it as a trader, or not a trader, as an exhibitor, because I don't sell nothing on the shows. Production is ongoing. I've got most of the suppliers screaming, when can we deliver? Okay, so it's just really Sarah getting all the plastics and the metalwork and all that being done. Finally signed off the final bit, which wasn't holding things up, which was the Mr. frame, because I don't know what happened. We modified it and it got messed up. I don't know. Anyway, so it's now fine. So they're being made. So that's all good news. But the production, yeah, it's ongoing. 2 to 3 weeks, everything should be made. And then I've got to go out there once they've started assembling. I'm going out there for a week, and we'll see. We'll see how it's going. I mean, obviously, I'm going out there to make sure everything's going well. On the bags, the new bag arrived, which I've put up in the loft. It was quite funny because I pulled it out. The quality's really good. The workmanship is really good. But the material they picked was too shiny, which made it kind of look cheap and a bit tacky. So we didn't like that, and Caroline went, oh, don't like that. Although, funny enough, it was 50-50 at the show. I didn't really show it too much, but some people went, oh, that's a bit cheap. And some people went, oh, I like that. Anyway, we don't want that. So I've already had new sample material through. Looks much more like the other one and the same thickness. It was all to do with it felt floppy, and it was well put together and well constructed, but it was just a bit floppy and not. You know, it was fine. I put a monitor in it, carried it, no problem whatsoever. It just didn't have that feel like the other ones. So we're getting we've got new material and etc. So that's going to be making a sample of that shortly. So I'm pleased about that. So it was a good one. I've got a second bag now, which is handy because they are really handy. Right now, excuse me. Right, so interesting. I've got to make an apology. Well, I don't think it's necessarily an apology, okay? Because it is the truth, but it was. I'll get to the point. Right, so some of you remember I bought one of these at the show. Now I'm not gonna bloody review it. All right, it's not my job. I'm no good at it. I'm just gonna go, yeah, it's all right, and the wife will laugh, and you know. However, I do want to say a few things about it. First of all, one thing I did say was that the audio was coming out of the headphone jack and not out of the HDMI. And I got that wrong because, well, no, that's not true. I got it absolutely right because it was. But there was, it's a setting where you set it, where do you want the default audio coming out of, which I hadn't seen. Shows how much notice I took. and that you can switch it to both. Now, the other point is that they have defaulted it. I believe when I spoke to them, I told them about it. They went, they defaulted it to the HDMI, so it wasn't an audio issue at all. Second thing, I don't think I actually mentioned this, but when I got to the show, I said, "Can you plug in a Wi-Fi adapter at the back, so I can connect to the network?" And then Matthew said, "What's wrong with the one that's built in?" Oops. So obviously it's got Wi-Fi built in. It's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Well, why not? It's an ARM machine. The final one was more interesting, and I think I mentioned this. That it was permanently set to 1920 by 1080p. And I contacted them about this, and Matthew came back and he said, "Would you like to speak to Andy, the developer?" I think it's... No, I'm not going to say his surname because I can't remember. I might get it wrong. I don't want to do that. But Andy's the guy who used to do an awful lot of work developing for OS4, and he's now working on this project. So he works for Amiga Kit permanently now. So I assume he's kind of working on this project and possibly other things, but I know he's working on this properly at the moment. And when he turned up at the show Saturday morning, well, as you're probably aware, the problem was it didn't do a 1280 1024 mode. So everything looked stupid, okay? He turned up and he said, can I install on your machine? Sure. So he spent about 10 minutes connecting it to the Wi-Fi, downloading the new software, and 1280 1024, bing. So now it supports my monitor, which is brilliant. I think Matthew saw that, we're going to sell a lot of these. And it just makes sense. Now, unlike these guys, when I asked them the same question, didn't even get a response. So, on the 600GS, I'll give you a very brief take, but not a review, right? You don't base anything on this. Hardware, fine. I've seen people say it's just an Orange Pi board with a breakout board. I think you'll find it's a bit more involved than that. And the breakout boards are always really expensive because it's $26 bloody Orange Pi. Really annoyed me that did because, it's the best way to do it. Take the part off the shelf. I've done it myself. Take the part off the shelf, add to it, improve it, put it in a box, write a load of software for it, package it. Product. And I think they've done a really good job. I think now I'm not a gamer, as you know, and I have seen people mention about the joypad. It's basic, I'll leave it at that. But then to me, I don't play anyway, so what do I know? Sorry, I'm looking. I'm terrible for this. So I don't think the joystick's much good. I will say on this one, the joypad and the mouse. Yes, it came with the mouse, didn't it? Yeah, this one came with the mouse. It's actually really nice. However, the software, which I think is more important on this, much better. Even in its early stage. I mean, because that thing over there is just... and I never use it. That thing over there is just literally a game launcher. Nothing more. I know you can hack it. But this thing is much more advanced. Okay? So, if you actually want to use it for something a bit more than playing games, you get this. The one brilliant thing, now, as some of you probably aware, I've always been an AROS fan. I've put thousands into AROS. I'm obviously big now. What I'm going to say is, what this is doing is legitimising AROS as a 68K Amiga operating system. Yeah. Now, if he sells a lot of these, which I think he will, and I hope he does, I actually truly do hope he does sell a lot, because it is making the AROS legitimate, and I think that's a very important thing. So there's this, and there's the Vampire team doing the same thing. It's not without its own issues, obviously, but from what I read on this, it's fine. The workbench, well, it's not workbench; it's called Wanderer, but I think they call it Amy Bench, don't they? It's fine. I mean, you can customize, but the best thing is if you want to use a classic OS, you just load an HDF file, and it'll run it. No, I haven't tested that yet. I've been ill. Okay, I've been ill, but I will test that because I want to see what this thing's capable of. And I'll never use the controller. It'll be sitting in there, and it's fine. I just won't use it. Now, the one thing I will say on the controller, even on the other one, people complained about the controller. I found the mouse quite nice, but I think everyone just has their own favourite controller and they plug it in anyway. So, to be fair, why spend a fortune on a controller when no one's going to use it? That's another way of looking at it. But I think they've done a nice job on this. It's packaged well. There's a nice little manual. And it's not expensive. I would have liked it to have been £99 because I like magic numbers. Even if it was £99 plus VAT. But it was £133 I paid. But I didn't feel ripped off. It was about the same price as the other. As I said, I don't know about the performance of the hardware. I think this may be quicker, but I don't know. But I will say that it's got that pretty case, obviously, and it's got a nice mouse and it's got a better controller. But I think the software package in this is light years ahead. And knowing Andy, it's only going to get better. So good luck with that one. That's that. Right. Let's see if there's any questions. Because, as I said, I want to keep it short. Chris, even though 45 minutes later, I'm ill. Not very. Just a cold. I blame ACDC. He's come back from there, eh? I just got an email just now. My mister just shipped. Okay, how much are they now? I managed to snag one. Okay, well, we're having these private chats, so I waited outside. Unfortunately, let's see if there's any questions. Where do we sign up for the email list? Go to my website, checkmatedisplays.com. Scroll down, there's a link. Click on it. All it does is send me an email. I'll drop it in a folder. I've not contacted anyone yet, but I will be soon. Oh, on the subject of that, maybe I should say the response I got at the show. Maybe I should mention that. No, if you believe me, great. If you don't, I can't do nothing about that. Everybody loved it. There weren't even final versions. These are what we call pre-production samples. All the boards inside are final production boards, but the plastics and the metal are pre-production samples. Now, what does that mean? It basically means that they're testing the molds. So they spit them out, but it means that the colours are often all over the place. Okay, so that I've got one looks like a bit more beige, and the front and the back don't quite match. It's that kind of thing. But the quality of it and everything is still the same. Now, there was one shiny one before we had the texture added. But basically, the main people could see, and I pointed to them, which is the texture and that kind of thing. The response is great. A lot of people who were on the waiting list, or who weren't on the waiting list, wanted to see it. Came on, instantly went on a waiting list. 2 or 3 people came up. Well, a lot of people came up actually backers, and 2 of them ordered more. So everyone was very pleased. So I hope everyone else is pleased, because that's kind of important. That's why I'm doing it. All right, any questions? If you wonder what I'm drinking, left, but read that, 0. Giving up alcohol till the end of the year. Surprisingly, I quite like Left. I don't drink it an awful lot, but it actually does. I know, well, it should. But normally when they do alcohol free, it don't taste nothing like the one it's supposed to be the same. Oh, there you go. Look, conspiracy time. But this one actually does taste like Left Blonde, which is great. Hello, T1N UK1. Link at the bottom to email Steve and get on the way. People are already asking it for Mass Handy. Same here. Oh, well, people saying I bought my D10 in March, 21 from Mouse, 100 now. I used to get them for 90. I must say, all of the kit you took to Kickstarter. Oh, great. Thank you. And it was great to speak with you briefly on Sunday. As you say, the extra padded variety of materials on the bag will make it better. Yeah, absolutely. Is your cooperation with Dragonbots going smoothly? Yes. Michael's a godsend. Which you probably know that thanks to Brexit, I lost. I mean, as I've always said, Europe was like 25-30% of sales, global sales. It dropped to about 5%. And right now it's back Europe, and is my. I sell more through Michael than I do anywhere else at the moment, especially because of the credit card issues. It's killed everything, you know what I mean? It's like a nightmare. But Michael wants to be a distributor. I already said he can be a distributor of the monitor because we've built up some trust over 2 or 3 years. And I do trust him. You know, I'll ship $5,000 worth of stuff, and you know, he says I've sent the money. He's got this really slow payment system, but it always arrives. You know, so I trust him. Yeah, no, things have been very good with Michael. So if you're looking into buying from Germany or anywhere in Europe, go to Michael. It's so much easier. It's nice of Jarwolf to say that's good. The Border 600 is also copyright Amiga kit. Yeah, Amiga kit, yeah. That's been corrected, I know. Question for the end. I'm all paid up via bank transfer, but I want to add the S-Video card. What's the best way? It's the same way, but I would suggest actually. Well, let me mention this as well. I know I've hidden the bag thing. It's probably not, because the bags were £90, and I've sold about 80, 90, something like that. But I pulled them because they're probably going to be a bit complicated to ship. Anyway, so, but it's looking like the new supplier will mean I can sell them for 50 quid instead of 90. And I kind of floated the idea with people at the show. Nearly everyone said, if it's 50 quid, I'll have one. Which makes sense, yeah, I get it. So you can, if you've already paid your balance, then hold off, because in case you can hold on, don't sweat on the like you want to buy it. A lot of people are doing it, and I do appreciate it because it's all helping. But if you want to hold off because of the bags, then that's fine. But it will probably there'll be about 50 quid, something like that. But I'm just waiting for the final samples to arrive because they're a lot cheaper, obviously. I have to buy 500 as well, which is obviously a bit, quite a lot. And another reason. And it may be they end up being shipped separately. I don't know yet. Still got to work that out. But yeah, so it's good news on the bags anyway, because a lot of people like them, but they were expensive. I know. But there we go. Anyway, if you want to pay balance, if you want to pay the extra, a little bit extras, then it's still wise. But you'll obviously already be set up now, so you just go bib, send. Just make sure you do it with a debit card, not a credit card. People are answering this. I thought there was a lot of proprietary software on there beside AROS. Yeah, there is a lot of proprietary software on. Well, I don't know about a lot of proprietary software, but they've built a whole custom system around that little box, and I think they've done a great job. But remember, don't take my opinion for it. Wait for people who know what they're doing to review it, because I'm no good at that. And as I said, yeah, the 500 mini, it does look pretty. It makes me laugh when people say, "Oh, why don't you do a beige box? Oh, why didn't you do this? Oh, why didn't you do?" Well, no, this is what it is. It's a nice, neat, nicely made little black box, and it does the job. Yeah, no matter what you do, you'd upset someone. So I think he did. It was a good choice. And I think I think it worked out well. It was inexpensive, but still a bit of quality. They got like embossed logos and stuff like that. So they done a nice job on it, and the packaging was great. Is it possible to amend one's order to add an additional monitor? No, you have to just create a new order. Now, also then you're gonna have to pay extra shipping because it's done by volume. So 2 monitors is twice the shipping. Well, it's actually 900. It's basically another 90% of shipping. It is expensive. There's nothing I can do about that. Is it possible to amend ones? Oh, okay. Lee, fitting kit for the desktop case. Oh, yeah. We'll come back to that later because I said I'd do a fitting kit for the monitor. If I do one for that, I'll do it for the case. But I'll come back to that. I've got enough on my plate at the moment. Thank you, Joe, for paying. Appreciate that. Left Blonde is quite good. Yeah, it is. It's really nice. I'm shocked how nice it is, actually. Actually tastes like Left Blonde. I don't drink an awful lot of it, but it's a nice one in the summer because it's not like this silly, weak little Budweiser rubbish that I won't go near. This is like proper Belgian beer. It's nice. Make a new order, then email. Okay, wait, I guess I'm on the list. Look through my email. I forgot. If Dragonbox sells your monitor, I'll jump on it. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's okay. The first couple of thousand will come from me because it's just the way it's going to be. I've got to make enough to satisfy the backers, which is about 1,600, and then so I've got to make 2,000. And then we'll have them, and then after I've got to make another 1,000. Then I've got to decide where they're going to go, and a lot of them will go into probably go into micro actually. A500 Mini was developed like 4 or 5 years ago when Pis were less powered. No, it's true. Yeah. Power I don't think really matters to a degree because I like the idea of running Workbench on it. No, I'm not, look, let's not kid around. I'm not going to. I've got so much kit, but I like to set things up, see what they can do, talk about it, and then I get bored with it. That's just the way I am. And then it gets put on a shelf or in a box and looks pretty. That's basically it. So come on, if you've got any more questions, bring them on, because I'm going to go and sit with the wife, and cause it's quite warm in here. I'm trying to think of something else to say. I ordered a black monitor, but on the site it says it's white. Order 6172. Email me tomorrow. I can't look now. Email me tomorrow, Lee. And then I'll check it out for you, because if it's wrong I'll change. It's not a problem. You do have to put a note on the order saying you want to change the colour, but send me an email first. I'll open it up and then we'll go through the process. I did one today, so it's fine. Don't stress on it. You want me for 30 or 40 years? Grow up. I'll be past 100 then. Is there any way for me to jump on the train and pre-order one of these monitors right now? No, not really. We'll have to wait for them to come to market. No. So, if you listened earlier, go to the website, scroll down. There's a link. It emails me. Yeah. I pop you into a waiting list. There's over 800 in there now. At some point, as discussed, I will be contacting them and saying, would you like to? But I need to, before I do that, I need to find out what's going on with the credit cards. But I'm going to make that decision in a week or two. So if you're kind of on the fence, I mean, there's still time, obviously. But what's going to happen is this. If I don't get people to pay it, it's going to send us a signal to the Chinese, who are being so supportive. It's going to say, well, you can't order the second lot. And I planned and budgeted and everything's in place, but obviously I need balances paid so I can order them all. And I can get the second 1,000 in, we ship them, and clear it, and then the profit from the whole lot is enough to order another 1,000. I've really worked on this, okay? But if people don't pay their balances, it's holding everything up. So you're just going to get pushed to the back of the queue. That's all there is to it. I mean, I don't want to put people on from the waiting list, and I'm holding off and holding off and holding off. But ultimately, I'm not killing this project, right? It's going to happen. And if people go and say, "Oh, I want money back," no, you committed to this, right? It's just, I just need you to pay. It's only a case of a bank transfer. You might get an extra £10 charge. Now, bearing in mind, I've spent probably an extra £100,000 on this project to make it as good as possible. Don't think an extra 10-15 quid, Okay, Fassi, tell him how good the kebab was on Saturday. Yeah, the kebab was great. See, every time I go to one of these shows, me and Fassi get together, and because he's really good at this stuff, he just reads the reviews, and so we always go and get a kebab, but we go and get a sit-down kebab with a proper meal, and not like like that, none of that. And yeah, we have a really good time. I think he went off to the party, but I didn't feel particularly brilliant anyway. And I went downhill that night really bad. But I just couldn't. I would have loved to have seen Paulie play. I mean, honestly, I really would have actually, but it wasn't coming on till about 11, half past. And now for me, I go to bed at 10. So, and I was knackered. So I really couldn't be doing with it. By some next year, you'll expect things to have calmed down. Send the Monitor Mafia to collect the payments or their kneecaps. I think some people just, I've got to pay. Some people are. Some people are just, it's just gone past them. Or some just like, no, I'll just wait for the credit card. It's just, I just want to, which is fine. But as I said, is, but the frustrating thing is the only problem that this project, apart from delay, right, which is caused by making it really good, the only problem this project has had is banking. Everything else has gone smooth. I should be careful with that one, but everything else has gone pretty smoothly. So, but there you go. Right. I can imagine the message you get people asking. Yeah. Right. I'm going to go. I'm going to go because I'm going to go see the wife. I can turn all this off next. It's quite warm in here. And I will, I'll speak to you another couple of weeks. Probably, it will be a couple of weeks because then it won't be long after that I'll be going to China. So, as I said, now me going to China means they're being assembled. So that's good. Oh, yes. Okay, on Happy. Glad you mentioned that. Right, so. He's obviously down. It's actually better than I thought he'd be, actually. He's... If you want to send a message, a get well message to Appy, right? Well, if you know how to contact him, fine, do it. But if you want to send a message to him, email me the message and I'll pass it on. Now, why am I saying that? Well, because some people can be, and I can just filter them out and just delete before he gets to him. I don't want him having to. So if you want to send him a message or anything like that, send it to my email address, steve@imika.net. I'll forward it on to him. Because, look, trust me, when this product ships, and then you realise what me and Appy have created, it's equal, right? Between us, what we've created is pretty special. And I think people will see it. I mean, there's going to be some that are going to bitch, but I can't do nothing about that. But anyway, I'm gonna go. And but yeah, so if you want to send a message to Happy, email it to me. I'll forward it. Unless of course you know how to contact him, then that's up to you. But by all means, do send them, because cheer him up. Right, okay. I'm going to press the end stream button. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining in. And I will speak to you soon.